A huge first 30 days for the Trump administration. Joining me live is Republican strategist John Jordan. Morning, John. How are you?
Good morning.
Now, where to start? There's so much to talk about, but we need to begin with what's happening in the Ukraine and US and Ukraine. What do you make of the dust-up between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky?
Well, the relationship between President Zelensky and even President Biden is far more complicated than people realize. Remember, Joe Biden cursed at him on a phone call. So it's not all been smoothness and light. I mean, President Trump was the first American president to send Ukraine lethal aid in his first term, something that the Obama administration patently refused to do. But the fact of the matter is that Ukraine does not have the number of troops, especially since they're down to 40 and 50-year-olds and they're grabbing people off the street, doesn't have the troops to push the Russians off the 18 to 20% of Ukraine that Russia currently holds. So what now? And Russia is gaining ground every day and is grinding down what is remaining of Ukrainian resistance. So a deal has to be struck. The only alternative to that is a huge number of Western boots on the ground and risk of war with a nuclear armed power. So you have to decide what you want to do here, because we have to abandon the fiction that we can just send Ukraine a bunch of stuff and they'll kick the Russians out. The time for that has passed because the West dribbled out aid too slowly. Ukraine took too many casualties, especially among their more elite, more frontline troops. And now they're left with just basically old men Volkssturm stuff from like the Germans at the end of World War II. So you got to be real about it. Many
are concerned about the cosying up to Vladimir Putin, many inside the US and overseas.
Well, the American media loves these types of terms like cozying up to Vladimir Putin. Nobody's cozying up to him at all. If you want to settle this, you have to talk to your adversary. And the Democrats have no problem talking to the Chinese Communist Party, the most murderous organization in the history of the world. If you look at what Mao did, and the Chinese Communist Party, the only country on earth which has widespread slavery right now, the American left is fine to talking to them, but it's only when it's politicized with Putin. Is Putin a good guy? No, he's not. But do you have to talk to him? Do you have to talk to all kinds of people if you want to do statecraft? Yeah, you do. It's the world we live in.
Is it part of a tactic, a wider tactic? He's known as the ultimate negotiator, the US president.
Yeah, so if you look at the history of some of the best breakthroughs in American history and the techniques used, I'll use Reagan, for example. President Reagan was unbelievably hard on the Soviet Union and saw the Soviet Union as the evil institution that it was and called it out as such. But at the same time, when he was dealing with Gorbachev, he didn't personalize it. You know, he didn't attack Gorbachev personally. He was hard on communism and hard on the Soviet Union, but he always left Gorbachev kind of a graceful way out and a way to save face so that he could cut a deal with him. It doesn't serve you in any way or serve the West in any way to make these attacks really, really personal with nuclear armed states. So you do what you have to do to get the job done, to stand up for what you believe in, but you always kind of, sometimes you have to leave the other guy out in a way that he can make concessions to you.
Elon Musk coming out on stage with the chainsaw. Obviously, there's a big look at bureaucracy in Washington. I think many probably agree with, going through with it forensically. What about his style?
Elon Musk's style? Well, yeah. I mean, he's an engineer. Elon Musk is an engineer immigrant from South Africa. You know, he's a quirky, fun guy, but highly successful people are not normal people a lot of the time. And Elon Musk is no exception to that. Elon Musk isn't running the American government. What he is kind of IT support for the Trump administration. So they kind of, using a hunting analogy, they kind of bird dog these things out and find all these things, but then it's up to the executives, cabinet officials appointed by Trump and the executive branch, and hopefully Congress come along to actually do something about it. So Elon Musk merely finds it, but he's not in a position to actually do anything.
Finally, and it's a big change of pace, I know, National Rugby League here, it's a big sport. It's our version of football. We have the AFL as well, but it's one of our versions. We started the season in Vegas last year. We're doing it again this year. And the chairman of the National Rugby League, Peter V'landys, has done a plea to Donald Trump to attend the opener in a few weeks' time. What do you think the chances of Donald Trump making his way to Vegas to see the start of the Australian footy season?
It wouldn't surprise me. I do talk to a lot of people in the administration regularly. President Trump won Nevada this last time, and he went out to Nevada recently, right after the week after he was sworn in. And Nevada has been very good to President Trump, and especially with the relationship between our two countries in face of threats in the Far East. It wouldn't surprise me if President Trump did a gesture like that. But I'll tell you what, if I'm invited, I'll go.
Oh, I'm sure you would. It's very entertaining, John. I should send you some tapes. Not that tapes exist anymore. Send you some old games. Good to chat and great to have you back on the show. Let's do it again soon.
You bet.